Hey guys, I'm Rob and welcome back to Rob's Model Cars. Well, I'm back with another brand new model review for you guys today, and obviously you've read the video title so you know what the car is. This is the brand new Davis & Giovanni Liberty Walk Lamborghini Huracan Silhouette GT. Now, Davis & Giovanni released this in a whole range of colors except for this one that I have here. Retail was around $720 US, which is around the average retail price for a Davis & Giovanni model. Now, what makes D&G models so expensive? Well, there's two reasons. One is the subject matter. So they tend to make models of cars that no other manufacturer will. Hence, they make a lot of the tuner cars. They make a lot of Liberty Walk cars. It is the accuracy of the models as well, as they do actually make exact replicas of the real cars. So that comes down to all of the decals, the wheels, everything. And the other thing that makes D&G models so expensive is the exclusivity, meaning that they usually only make very small production runs. So unlike BBR models or MR models that may make 200, 300, 400 copies of a particular model, Davis & Giovanni or D&G usually only make maybe 20 or 30. So that's what makes them more expensive than the other brands. So a lot more production cost compared to how many units they sell. So hence they're more expensive. Are they worth that extra money? I mean, they're nearly twice the price of a BBR model. Well, that's in the eye of the beholder, and if it's a model that you particularly want. Now, this version that I'm going to show you today is an exclusive version which was commissioned by Unusual 43 in Singapore. Now, this is actually the red version, which is actually a replica of Justin Bieber's red Huracan Silhouette GT. Now, I didn't buy it because it's a copy of Justin Bieber's car. I'm not a fan of Justin Bieber. It's not my type of music. But needless to say, this is a replica of his car. Now, being that this is an exclusive, it was only available through Unusual 43 in Singapore, and this is limited to only 8 pieces. So, super rare car, but it also came with quite an expensive price tag as well. So the retail on this model was a whopping $820 US, which is pretty much right up there with some of the most expensive models I've ever bought. Is it worth $820? Well, we'll put it on the turntable and have a closer look, and we'll do a full review and go over all the details, and then I'll give it a Rob score at the end of this video. Now, while I'm on camera here, before we highlight the model, I've brought up several times about these high-end resin models that show no engine detail, and I have a strong feeling, I've been collecting a long time, and I believe that the models that do not have any engine detail should be cheaper than a model that has full engine detail, because as a model builder, I know there's less mold making, there's less parts to be made, there's less assembly. They are just quicker to assemble when there is no visible engine. So I'm still a firm believer that models, sealed high-end resin models that show no engine detail should be cheaper than a model that does have engine detail. So I may do a separate video on this topic, but most of you guys have heard me comment on that before, and I'm a firm believer in that. Anyway, we've reviewed a ton of D&G models before, just come in these plain black boxes with a little label on the end. Now, if we lift the lid off, these all do come with a standard plexiglass display case, and you'd expect that for the cost of the money for the models. And this is the Unusual 43 exclusive. So this is finished in Rosso Mars. It is the Liberty Walk Huracan Silhouette GT, and it has the exact same wheels that are on Justin Bieber's car in the USA. So the other colors really didn't attract me too much, but I really did like this one, so I did have to sell a couple of models to afford this one. I know a lot of you guys think I'm rich, but I do have to sell some models continually to pay for new ones, and it was the case with this one as well. At $820 US, it is a extremely expensive model, probably in the top 3 most expensive models in my collection, and I don't buy that many of these models due to the price. They are just super expensive. But anyway, we'll get this one out, we'll put it on the turntable, have a closer look at it, and then give it a Rob score at the end of the video. So let's go. Okay, so here it is. So I'll give you a bit of a look all around the model first before we start talking about the details. But you can notice one thing automatically, and that is the superb paint finish on these models. So that is one thing about these Davis & Giovanni models, is that the paintwork is always superb. And I do have to mention that the decals are all underneath the clear coat. Now, you don't get that with any manufacturer at all other than D&G or my own custom made models, which I do the same thing. So I apply all the clear coat over the decals to give you that perfect finish. Now let's talk about the base first. So they do come on these beautiful white synthetic leather bases. This one's got the red stitching, and it does have the photo etched nameplate on the front here, and you can see the limited edition. This is number 6 of 8, so pretty lucky to get my hands on one of these. They do sell out pretty quick, and again, you can remove the models from the base. Just feel with your finger where the screw holes are. You can cut a slot in the felt and undo the screw and remove the model, but these models are so expensive, I just do not remove them from the base at all. Now, as I said, the one thing that really sets these models apart is the paint finish. As you can see, it's absolutely flawless. Beautiful paint application all over, and the decals are underneath the clear coat, which is just absolutely wonderful. I do like that fact about the D&G models. Now, let's start talking about the details here. Now, I would have thought that this would have had a lot of carbon fibre on it, but it didn't. So this big front splitter is just in a matte black finish. There's no carbon fibre decals here. There's no carbon fibre on the inside either on any of those fins. It's all in the red paintwork, but you do have photo etched mesh in the front of the model, as you can see, and you can see the blanking panels in behind those grills as well to represent the radiators. Now, they do have a beautiful little Lamborghini photo etched emblem on the hood of the model. And they've done a really exceptionally good job on the headlights as well. So you can see the definition in the daytime running lights, the W shape in the Huracan headlights, and the little lenses in there of the projector lamps. So the headlights are done really nice, the details with metal photo etched parts inside, and the plastics that they use are super clear as well on those headlights, as you can see. So really good effort there. Now, this is the new Silhouette GT body kit, which gets away from the round fender shape with the exposed rivets. This is more of a complete fender replacement, more like a GT style. It's more square, and you can actually see the front tyre through that little gap there in that front fender. Now, this style of kit also has the little louvers on the top of the fender as well on both sides, as you can see, and this one does have the big vented GT bonnet as well. Of course, it's got photo etched mesh in the tops of the hood openings, and just a blanking panel in underneath that as well. So if you move around to the side of the car, standard Huracan mirrors, nicely replicated, super reflective material used behind as well. Now, this one does have metal windscreen wipers on it, so you can see the photo etched metal windscreen wipers, and they do use super clear plastics on the windows of these models, right up there with BBR as far as quality of the windows. Same with the side windows. The windows are super clear, and then they have a little metal photo etched piece that sticks on the outside of that, which highlights the frame and the window trim rubber at the top of the door. So, but that's pretty much the same as a BBR model as well. The roof of this model, again, no carbon fibre. This is just all in a matte black, which carries down into the shark fin and the engine lid as well, which is all in matte black. Now, if we look at coming back to the side skirt here, huge big wide side skirt here, which leads into the big GT rear fender. Now this has a piece of photo etched mesh in the front of it, and you can actually see how wide this Huracan is. It really steps out quite a bit here. They have done a really nice job of the fender shaping on here. It is actually quite thin, the resin through here, and the wheel is really tucked up underneath this fender as well. So they've done a really good job to get the stance, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Rear wing is lovely as well, with these big side planes bolted to the car, and then you've got the big adjustable wing section. It's not movable on this model, but you can see on these wing leg bases, you can see the little rivets here which bolt it to the top. Of course, it has the LBWK decal on the side, and the rear wing is just in a matte black finish here. Little matte black center leg as well. That's in plastic, I think. And then, yeah, you've got that big shark fin on the top of the model as well, and all the louvers in the rear deck lid also. Now if we move around to the back of the model, they have done a really good job on the tail lights as well, which you'd expect for a model of this price point. Again, no carbon fiber. The whole rear diffuser here is just in a matte black finish, same as the fins and the underside of the diffuser. It's all in matte black. You do have photo etched mesh obviously running through the lower section. You've got your little Lamborghini emblem, your third brake light, and it's wearing the IPE exhaust system number plate on the model as well. Now, as you can see here through these rear fenders, you can actually see the rear tyre in there, which is exactly like the real car, which is a nice touch as well. But that's pretty much all the details on the outside of the model. There's not too many decals really, just the LBWK on the door. You do have a little LB decal which runs up the side of the hood. You've got the LB crests on the side, couple more decals on the side skirt. You do have the Liberty Walk decal up on the rear fenders, and of course the LBWK decals on the rear wing, which I mentioned. They are all underneath the clear coat. So there is, as a model builder, I know there is a bit more time involved to paint the model, apply all the decals, and then clear coat the model again, but it does give a superior paint finish or a finished model look with the decals under the clear coat. That's why I do it to all my custom models as well. So there is a little bit more cost there in manufacturing these models. But overall, pretty good job on the, well, exceptional job on the paint work, the paint finish, and the details around the model. But unfortunately, there is no visible engine in this model at all. So this starts to question the price of the model. Now let's talk about the stance of the model. The stance, of course, it's a Liberty Walk car, so it is absolutely slammed to the ground. Tyres are tucked up underneath the front and rear fenders, and the model is basically sitting on this base, as you can see, with maybe a couple of millimeters to spare. Now, one thing they have done is an outstanding job on these wheels. So if you have a look at that wheel design, beautiful crisp details. They are a modular 3-piece wheel, so you can see the ring bolt in there with all the little studs in there in black, and it does have a semi-polished lip as well on the rim. Slightly deeper on the back, there's more dish because it is a wider rim, as you can see here. But they have done a great job also on the brake rotors. They're a 2-piece brake rotor, and it has the big red calipers in there as well, front and rear. So if you think anyone can do a better wheel than that on a model, let me know, but I think they have done a superb job on those wheels. They look fantastic in the flesh, so hopefully the camera is picking up that detail as well. So that pretty much wraps up all of the exterior of the model, and the only other bit to talk about now, I guess, is the interior. Now, with most of these sealed resin models, it is a bit hard to show you guys all the detail when the interior is all black, and that is the case here today. So the interior is all black, but you can see through the top of the dashboard, you can see the few moldings into the dashboard, the demister vents at the front. You can see the top of the instrument pod, the steering wheel, and all that's replicated quite well. The steering wheel also is replicated quite well, same as the instruments on the dashboard of the model. Hopefully you can see that through that side window. And also the center console as well. Not sure whether you can see that, but it does have a nice center screen, and there are some nice switches and gear on the center console as well. Maybe you can see it that way. The seats are pretty much just all black with a black stitching. I can't really see in this model whether it has carpeting on the floors. I don't think it does. It does have cloth seat belts as well though, and metal seat belt latch buckles. But that's pretty much all there is to see in this model. The door trims are pretty much all black as well. So yeah, pretty limited amount of detail inside. So overall, I think that pretty much wraps up all the details of this brand new D&G Liberty Walk Lamborghini Huracan Silhouette GT. That's quite a long title. Now this comes down to, as I mentioned, the fact that there's no engine detail, and this model was a whopping $820. Basically had a $100 premium over the other color versions of this model. And that is because it was commissioned by that model shop in Singapore. So, was it worth it? Well, I don't think anyone else is going to make a model of this car. So if you want a model of this car, it's probably only going to be D&G. Maybe Auto Art will make one in the future, but that's really an unpredictable thing to know. Now this comes down to the Rob score. What do I give this one out of 10 as a Rob score? Well, I'm usually really absolutely wrapped with the D&G models that I buy. All the last previous ones, especially the Infinite Lamborghini Aventador version 2 that I reviewed. I nearly gave that full marks, I think, from memory. But this one, look, I'm going to be a little bit harsh on this one. I'm only going to give this one a 7 out of 10, mainly for the price. I think it is overpriced. Now, as I mentioned, with the paintwork, they do put all the decals underneath the clear coat, which is a good thing. But on this particular model, I really don't see anything exceptionally better than the build quality of a BBR model, or all of the newer BBR models. The quality is about the same. So really, at $820 US, I think this model is overpriced, and that's why I'm only giving it a 7 out of 10. Now, I'm not sure whether I will hang on to this one. I really do love this Silhouette GT Lamborghini Huracan, and I'd like to keep it in the collection, but I know there's some people out there that missed out on this, that love their D&G models, that I would have no trouble at all selling this model on for a profit, but I haven't decided yet whether I'll keep it. But that is my Rob score on today's model. Only a 7 out of 10 for this super expensive Davis & Giovanni model. So that's going to wrap up today's review of this model. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. I have more models on the way, quite a lot. I have about 12 models on order. Some are pre-orders, some will be available soon. So there's plenty more content coming, and I've got quite a few model builds to reveal over the next few months as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Definitely give that like button a hit, and stay tuned for the next video. But until next time, thanks for watching Rob's Model Cars.